Hey guys, welcome back to JT's Mixtape, episode number 34. And if you guys are enjoying these podcasts, please give me a 5-star review on the Apple or Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. I have got a podcast sponsor. I was happy to partner with Modern Roots Life, and this is really cool because it's a Christian company. Modern Roots Life, they provide natural health supplements, natural salts, beef liver, magnesium, copper, lots of things. Natural, third-party tested supplements. And I think for me, I often complain about being very tired and having a bit of brain fog trying to do everything that we're trying to do. So I just started my regime. And so I'm excited to see how it works out because I think like you guys in this community that we don't really want to go to the doctor anymore. And I'm not saying you'll never have to, but I'm saying that if I can be more healthy, then I'm doing my best to try to do that now. Physically and spiritually and mentally. So if you guys want to check out Modern Roots Life, check out the link in my description. People often ask how they can support me. Well, I think it's really cool if you can support me by supporting people that support me. And you get something in return. And obviously being healthy is a pretty good return.
Come closer, my child.
Brian, how's it going, brother?
I'm surviving the fights and the riots of LA. You know, it's a battle out here, and we're just, we're tuckering, bunkering down, and, staying secure. Just kidding. It's like not that big a deal where I'm at.
Yeah. So where is I don't guess we don't want to say exactly where you are, maybe.
No,
or
we don't want to say where I'm at.
But you're like 45 minutes from LA. Is that correct? Or is it like closer to an hour?
Yeah, just right outside, pretty much. Yeah.
So it's not obviously it's right in the city of LA, and obviously you guys listen to this now, and hopefully by the time you guys listen to this on Monday, there'll be no more riots in LA. But right now that they're kind of in the thick of it, right?
Yeah, there's supposedly like all kinds of people like throwing fits about ICE. Apparently, it's like sending out threatening letters to everybody. I just got done reading. A client was sharing with me one of the letters they got, and her husband, who's an American-born citizen, but at one point went to jail. He got a letter from the United States government that's putting out that basically said, you're here on parole because of the Department of whatever, and it is now evacuated, and it is no longer it was void. It's time for you to return back to your country. And it literally was like, it's time for you to go home. Like the title of the letter from the... And he's an American citizen. So, but like this letter, I guess, went out to a bunch of people. A bunch of people got this email, and it was going out to like all the people. And it's just like a letter basically stating, and it was like, if you're not from this country, you're going to be sent away. Like, and it's like it's pretty interesting. The letter that's been going out, I guess, that the government put out for a bunch of people, just telling you it's time to go home. So I don't know. They're just like, hey, we're gonna get rid of this. But the funny thing is, well, I guess we can't say it unless we're on the secret show. The reason why our borders are open. Oh. The reason why our borders are open in the first place.
Well, you can just say, we can just cut this part. Well, let's get this back on track to the YouTube portion of the podcast. What's interesting that you mentioned the riots that are happening in LA, and obviously they revolve around ICE and immigration. But interestingly enough, a friend of mine on social media, who I've done his podcast a couple of times, actually predicted this was going to happen a couple years ago. Let's check out this video real quick.
So I just want to show you this video to prove that you are all being played right now. Back in September 2023 on a Joe Rogan Fight Compilation podcast, Sam Tripoli said that what you're seeing now was going to happen back then. He called it 2 years ago. We are all being played.
The intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away. And the next thing you're going to see are immigration riots. This is going to be right around the next election. So, hand to God, we do this episode. Next day, Starbucks is like, we're banning all the pride stuff. And now you start seeing these, they're putting little breadcrumbs out, man. Little breadcrumbs. Oh, I saw this one thing in Chicago. Oh, yeah, illegal immigrants are upset about where they're staying. And these illegal immigrants who speak no English are holding up perfectly written English signs saying we're tired of how we're being treated. And now you're starting to see this over and over again. Eric, so everyone's always like, when all these Republican governors are like sending these immigrants all over the country, everyone's like, yeah, you're showing those Democrats. Bro, they're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100 what do
you mean they're moving assets? What do you mean?
Dude, these guys coming into the country, bro, have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese, and a lot of them are military-age people. Too. And I'm telling you, they're moving, and this is what's going to be right around 2024 election. Immigration riots, people going nuts, and as listen to this, and you'll start seeing all the little breadcrumbs being put out.
May I give you
the Bolshevik War? It is happening in real time, 100%. But I just wanted to get that out to everybody because I'm trying to warn people. This is what's next.
I mean, he was a little bit off with the timing. It was a year off, but still accurate.
I would say that's pretty good. I mean, I don't think he claimed to say, "Thus saith the Lord," this is going to happen, and to exactly when. But I mean, like, that was pretty prophetic. I mean, it's interesting that he was talking about that. He mentioned it in the same sentence as the pride stuff. The pride stuff's going away, and it just so happens this stuff happens in June. Out of all the months that this could take place, that is really interesting. And yeah, a lot of people.
Month?
What's that?
Pride Month?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's June. It's Pride Month. So a lot of people have obviously said a lot of these, when they say, especially when they say they're mostly peaceful protests that are obviously anything but. And yeah, like what he was talking about with like the signs with perfect English, with people who don't speak perfect English, it sort of seems like there's likely some oligarch behind this who might be putting out all the maybe the stacks of bricks and maybe funding the motorcades to get these people to the places and organize the stuff. Yeah, it does seem like this is likely not organic. This is.
I wonder if the people in control that are planning all this, if they have a religion they're a part of. I'm just saying. I bet they probably do.
You think they have some kind of a?
I bet they belong to one country.
They might. They very well might. I think that it's probably a mystery which one it could be, though.
Probably somewhere in the Middle East, I would guess.
I'm going to play a completely unrelated video because we're not going to talk about this all day. But I thought, Brian, I just saw this video. I thought you'd find this interesting. This, like, again, completely unrelated. But let's just check out this video.
Yo, did anybody else know that in 2021, the UN voted to make food a basic human right and only 2 countries voted against it? America and Israel, of course, the biggest haters of humanity on Earth.
That's pretty comical.
What are the odds that the 2 countries were ours and Ben Shapiro's?
Ben Shapiro's. I mean, the funny thing is food is free. Like, people don't realize it. Like, food is free. It's just our system of control has made you think that food is not free. Like, food grows on trees. Like, fruit, like, everybody has yards right now. If everybody right now, like, I've done this, and I hope everybody watching does the same thing. Go get some fruit trees and put them in your yards. Everybody should be doing it. Every single person should be planting fruit trees in your yard. Imagine if our entire neighborhood, if everyone in your entire neighborhood planted fruit trees in your yard, everybody in your whole neighborhood. I wanted to make flyers and pass them out to my whole neighborhood and be like, hey, everybody, like, start planting fruit trees in your yard now. Because, like, if everybody did that, bro, like, we could just, like, go get berries from so-and-so.
The wife just planted a couple blueberry bushes in the yard.
There you go. Yeah, and so you could go to literally every person's house. Oh, yeah, Susan around the corner has oranges. Go get some oranges right now. They're in bloom. And like, bro, we could just go get food from all of our neighbors. They all have fruit trees. You're all watering your dumb yards of grass anyways. Like, why don't you make it a garden? You know the reason why you had yards in the first place? They shrunk and they shrunk and they shrunk and they shrunk until they became yards. Bro, yards were literally like your field for your crops. Okay?
Right.
And over time, they just got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller till it was like a decoration. Bro, it was like normal for everybody to have food in their yard. Okay? And now it's a decoration piece that you water for grass. How stupid is that?
Just having a yard just to cut the grass kind of blows as a homeowner. It's never been my favorite thing. It's a little bit satisfying to get outside and just do something, to take care of what you've got. But yeah, like the practicality of having something that would provide you with nourishment versus just aesthetics and a place to sit and just sip on your lemonade. It's quite different than, like you could have, I don't know, like an apple tree, fresh apples. But yeah, the whole thing is though, it's just interesting, even the way it's worded. So is food a basic human right? I would say, how could you deny that it is? It's like, so government entities saying that it's not a human right. Like, what does that say to the people who live in both the United States and Israel?
Sounds like the United States is just following suit with something that another country wants them to agree with.
Well, potentially. But yeah, to me, that's obviously very troubling, but it is kind of funny that, I know that if you go look into it, they'll say the wording is bad or something about it is bad. And probably because America wants to make lots of money off whatever, and they can't make a lot of money off if it's a human right, maybe. But isn't it funny too? I want to say that when we were talking about the new guy, and I forget this guy's name, who was taking over for Klaus Schwab, I think didn't he have something to do with Nestle, I think, when they were selling bottled water?
Point, I think. Yeah,
and he was saying that clean water was not a human right.
Yeah. The thing is, bro, if you were a human that lived in the wild right now, like, bro, it is a human right, because the reality is this, like, if we didn't have these complicated systems of government and all these things in place, like, you could just go to the river and fish and eat food and live off.
You could fish, you could drink the water that's in the river, but you probably can't drink the water in the river because some big corporation has polluted it.
Yep.
And if you polluted that river, they would lock you up.
Yeah, and now the corporation's polluted it. You have to have somebody filtering it. And that person filtering it is making a profit because they're now selling it to you. And the reality is, it's like, bro, you should be able to just drink the water, fish, and eat the berries off the land. Yeah, everybody should.
I agree.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that we don't have a system in place at this time. Dude, it's 2025. At this point, like, everybody should have a system in place where our food and our water is just like a system that functions as part of normal society.
I agree. But you know what? Let's switch gears a little bit. We're going to stay on the subject of government right now because we're kind of on a roll. We got to watch this video here. And this is something, it was kind of an omission from last week. I can't believe we didn't get to it, but that's how life goes. That's how this show goes.
And he walks in with a black eye. So the father of Mars travel walks into the house that's not white for his last day, a congratulations and a key to the house that's not white, and he has a black eye. And TikTok, this is just the news. Episode 4. Literally, I'm not saying anything, I'm just saying the obvious. He walked in with a black eye. A black eye. Never mind. 1000% unrelated. Not relevant whatsoever. Last night he posted this very, very weird AI image of this bull looking thing. A crowd of bull people. This is the only reason the video is labeled AI. But there's something weird about these bull, especially this one right here. Something is mighty, mighty, mighty familiar. I just can't put my finger on it. Picture is completely irrelevant. I'm just using it to help me think. By the way, completely unrelated again, I actually just dropped a crazy video on YT about this entity right here. He had said it was caused by his son X. X must be extremely strong at his age. And go back and watch the video, but there's a lot of redding in his eye. Anyways, hope your eye feels better.
Harry's great. That was hilarious.
So we got a new member of the Blackeye Club. It's been a while since we talked about the Blackeye Club, but Elon, had the right eye, so it looked like obviously a guy who was a southpaw gave him the hook, got him in the eye. And then, interestingly enough, right after this meeting is when Elon and Trump were having their little slap fight. And so Elon, one thing that Moon didn't mention in that video was that there's other videos of Eli looking like he was really, really high. You know what I'm talking about? It's like he's doing the whole...
It's a case we win. We can't lose that case because we have the right to make grants. We're not going to make any grants like that. But I don't think Harvard's been acting very nicely. I think Columbia wants to get to the bottom of the problem. They've acted very well. And there are other institutions, too, that are acting, but Harvard's trying to be a big shot. And all that happens is
Is that just the autism, or was he really like on something?
I'm not good at identifying drug addiction because to me it just looks like demon possession. So it's like hard for me to tell the difference. I don't really know.
Well, maybe it's not. Maybe there's no difference right here because obviously Elon's behavior over the years has been erratic. He likes to get in Twitter slap fights. That's probably why he bought Twitter, or somebody gave him the money to buy Twitter, whatever this agenda is. I mean, a lot of people think this looks manufactured, but I mean, again, we don't believe in coincidences. So what is it? Like, he comes in with a black eye and then immediately him and Trump are having issues?
That's pretty sus. Like, that for sure is pretty sus with a black eye. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's like almost like he was like losing his power. So he's like, fine, I'll join whatever agenda this is. And they're like, well, we gotta hit you in the eye for some reason.
Yeah, his son did it. What's more believable? Elon's story or Jay Leno's story about how he was walking down to whatever Golden Corral or whatever he was saying he was going to go eat at, you know, and then he falls down a hill and he still performs that day. Elon still makes it to the White House.
No makeup on. I mean, he could have put makeup on to cover it up at least. I mean,
they never do. I mean, I guess we'll put it this way. If they ever did, maybe we wouldn't notice. But it seems like they wear him like a badge of honor. You know, we've often talked about that Elon he's rocked the Norvis Order Seclorum jacket. I think he posted that right after Trump got elected.
And the Baphomet vest.
Yeah, he's got the Baphomet vest. His mom, I'm not exactly sure about this, but I thought that his mom was in the the Eastern Star, what do they call it? The Order of the Eastern Star. Is that what it's called? The Women's Freemasonry
Club? She looks
Club?
like she might be, but she's also 100% a supporter of that country where they wear the little hats. And she talks about it on her Twitter, and it's like she's like staunch supporter of it. Like, it's crazy. She has like a friend that works for her. One of her little people that works for her is like an advocate for that. Her like best friend is like a big advocate for that country.
Yeah, and then so of course we also have the issue where Elon brings up the reason the Epstein client list has not been put out, or all the files have not been released, is because Trump is in the files.
Mm-hmm.
You could just say that is quite the provocative tweet to tweet that out with really no context. But he's obviously saying something without saying it, because he's saying the reason we don't have him is because Trump is implicated. But hold that thought. Actually, I do have a video about that, because I think that this might give us a little more context before we just start spouting off.
I hate to be the one to say it, but this is not the bombshell that Elon and everybody else thinks it is. Hey, come on. Trump is 100% in the Epstein files. We all know this already. It's already been widely reported that Trump allegedly was good friends with Epstein, so of course his name is going to be in the files. In fact, Trump's own attorney general already told us that Trump is named in Epstein's flight logs. So the real question isn't whether he's in the files or not, it's did he commit a crime? I mean, you don't think if Trump was actually implicated in anything illegal, the Democrats wouldn't have just released these files years ago. Now, in terms of actual evidence that's kind of out there, according to investigative journalist George Webb, he claims that Trump used to go to these Epstein parties with his dates, and he would get his photo taken by a photographer, and then he would bounce before halftime, quote unquote.
Trump is in the Epstein files. That's what the big bomb is that Elon's dropping. We've said that he would come to the beginning part of the party, then the things would start unraveling where the suggestions were being made at halftime. Then Trump would leave. We have witnesses to the facts. So technically Elon is correct, but it's misleading. Trump left at the halfway point in all these parties. We have witnesses to the facts.
This is, of course, all alleged, and really the only way to know for sure is to release the files. Come on, Donald, do it.
We've long seen the pictures with Epstein and Trump. And I've even heard, like, I've seen the excerpt, and I read the excerpt from that magazine where Trump was talking about him in, was it in Vogue or something? I think he was talking about Epstein. He was saying that he likes beautiful women. You know, what he says, he likes beautiful women almost as much as I do, but he likes them a little bit younger.
He says he likes them on the younger side.
Yeah, younger side or something like that. Yeah, so it's like, you know, even just the way that his lawyer, or I'm not sure who that guy who was affiliated with him, was trying to frame it. It's like he left when things were about to get really bad. So did he know that they were going to get really bad? So he knew what was happening there. But he went for part of it and then left. It's kind of like that if you went to P. Diddy's party and, well, I mean, before it got really crazy, I left. I mean, but it's like, but you knew it was going to happen. So you knew to leave, but then you went back to another one.
So another thing that happened was Trump said Prince Albert knows what's going on at those parties.
And he said that when?
Remember that? He said. No,
I never heard that one.
Or I think it was Prince Albert, right? Or
wait, no, you're talking about Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew, that's what it was. He said Prince Andrew knows what's going on at the parties. Why don't you ask him? He said that on camera in a video when they said, what's going on with the Epstein stuff? And he said, well, Prince Andrew knows about it. Why don't you ask him? And he was like, he straight like hung Prince Andrew up on, like outed him and said, why don't you ask him? He knows what's going on there. And it was almost like why would he say that if Trump really knew what was going on? He knew something was going on, but he didn't know to the fullest extent because he just straight outed that dude.
I'm telling you, man. I think this is a similar situation where Weinstein, P. Diddy, Epstein, and then when people start to talk, everyone knows. They already all know. There's no way that all the people who are rubbing shoulders and going to these parties don't know about this. So it's a real thing. It's like, so who's talking? Who's allowed to talk? And speaking of that, we should probably just go right into it. And of course, like I said, I didn't really want this to be. This will be like the last political video of the show, and then we can get into some weird stuff. But yeah, like obviously, we have to talk about this. But yeah. Speaking of like who's allowed to talk and why the files aren't out there and the videos and whatever evidence they've got, let's go right to the horse's mouth. The new FBI director, Kash Patel.
What in the Mickey Mouse Club is going on here? Okay, just a month ago, Pam Bondi told everybody that there were, quote, tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children.
Yeah, the FBI, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
The FBI is reviewing it, she says. Well, here's Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, on Rogan.
Do you think, let's play out the logical conclusion of this. Do you think that myself, Bongino, and others would participate in hiding information about Epstein's grotesque activities? Or do you think we would also participate in not prosecuting people we had evidence to prosecute people on? But the problem is there's been like 15 years of people coming in and creating fictions about this that doesn't exist. Where's the videotape of an Epstein Island of X, Y, and Z committing these frauds? Why haven't you given it to us? Do you really think I wouldn't give that to you if it existed?
I don't know. It seems like it. What the hell? Either Kash Patel's lying, or Pam Bondi's lying, or I'll just drop this huge bomb. Epstein is still alive. What do you think?
Epstein's still alive. What was that at the end?
Should we go freeze frame that back?
Yeah.
See what that showed. Yeah, wait, let's see what he said. What do you mean he's still alive? It says...
No, what is that?
It says, Epstein in witness protection. Chase Geyser has got a hunch that the upcoming FBI Epstein video release will show Epstein's body being taken out of his cell. Word is Kash Patel and Dan Bongino tipped off that Epstein blank. And so he didn't. James
Epstein
Lee's
is a witness, is what it sounds like.
James Lee's head's in the way of like that. I don't know why. That seems a bit clickbaity, but of course, you know how TikTok works. That really doesn't help if you say something like that for the end.
Well, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino tipped off that Jeffrey Epstein is in witness protection, is probably what it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it says show more.
Yeah. And so he's saying that Epstein is as a part of witness protection. So that's funny.
BS. I mean, I'm not saying he's not alive, but here's the thing. I mean, I don't have a law degree. I've stayed in a Holiday Inn Express. I've watched lots of movies. So the most I know about the law is mostly watching Law and Order, SVU, and stuff like that. But here's what I know about witness protection in mob movies. They're not going to put you in witness protection unless they are going to use you as a witness to prosecute other people. That's really been the issue with the whole Epstein thing, is the fact that the only person that we really know who's been arrested is Maxwell.
Well, maybe Epstein's the bigger fish, and like he knows who the bigger fish is, and he's giving them the bigger fish info, and they're having.
We know who the bigger fish are, Brian. Obviously, they're not giving them. That's stupid.
Well, what if Epstein's giving them the bigger fish?
The bigger fish are countries.
Yeah,
they're 3-letter agencies. There's no way that so who are the 3-letter agencies going to?
Well, you know,
or they're going to use Epstein to prosecute themselves.
You know that they're not, but Epstein is literally, there's a bigger fish that Epstein works for that controls the countries. You know what I mean?
No, Brian, that's them. It's them. Obviously, the point is like that those people who would be giving him witness protection are the ones who would be put in the crosshairs themselves if he started to talk.
Yeah.
So that is retarded. I'm not saying he couldn't still be alive, but that makes zero sense. But what I really want to talk about is Kash Patel right here. Is he serious? Like he's going on Rogan and he's literally saying, "Trust me, bro." Like, do you think that me and Bongino would lie to you guys?
Yeah,
it's like that takes some stones to get out there, because the obvious answer is yes. We absolutely believe that you would lie, but we believe that you could have evidence and you would hide it. We believe that you would not prosecute people that you know are guilty because you guys are corrupt, just like everybody else before you. Because that's the thing. So I could play another video, but like I said, I'm not going to spend too much more time on this. But there's a clip of Kash Patel in 2023 when he was doing all the talk shows. And he was talking about how big a deal all this stuff was, like everyone else. And he was singing a completely different tune. Like they could release all this stuff right now. They've got all this stuff, and and then he gets into the office of FBI director, him and Bongino, his deputy director, and then they go just a complete about face. And it's so striking to us. And the only thing is like the Rogan does not push back enough. And I mean, maybe he would not got access if he didn't. But I mean, to me, it's like, it's not, would we do this? It's like, why would I believe you right now?
Show us the evidence. Just show us.
Well, the thing is, again, so what James Lee rightfully said was that, so you have Pam Bondi out here. So obviously she's already lied, because she's already said that, we're going to have everything out. It's going to be like unredacted a long time ago. They gave all those social media people, conservatives, the stupid binder that had what in it? Obviously nothing, because nothing's come out since then. And then people have been saying, so when is the real thing going to come out? So she's the attorney general. She's the one who said there was thousands of hours of tapes of stuff that went on in the island, all the nefarious stuff that we don't even want to talk about. And then Kash Patel saying those tapes don't exist. So one of them is lying. So again, Pam Bondi's already lied. But I mean, I do feel like it's like a situation where I said, I'm a little older than Brian. I'm more of a sports fan. I like the sports ball a little bit more. And I just remember back in the day when Congress dragged all the baseball players in front of Congress when there was that big steroid scandal. And they were like wagging their fingers in the face. No, I did not. It's like kind of like George W. Bush or George H.W. Bush. Read my lips. No new taxes. Like the Obama. If you like your doctor, you get to keep your doctor. You're going to pay less money and your healthcare is going to be so much better. These people are obviously lying. So it's like we are trained to not believe politicians. And obviously, if you're an FBI director, you're most certainly a politician. Yeah, it's just one of those situations where you're like, man, you guys really don't respect us at all. You think we're really, really stupid, don't you?
It really makes you wonder what is actually in the files. Like, I wonder what kind of like mind control tactics they have over that stuff. Like, I wonder if it's like, you know, in the files they found sacrifice, and they're like, bro, if we release this, everyone's gonna find out that the world is ran by a bunch of child sacrifice.
We already know that.
And like, yeah, but like if the world finds out that that's real, like how are they gonna handle it? And it's almost like they think they're protecting the minds of people by keeping secrets for everyone. That's kind of what it's starting to feel like. And it's like, no, fool, you're actually the problem. You're the problem keeping the secrets. Let the people deal with the problem. Let the people deal with the, like, dude, anytime you're keeping secrets, it's a problem. If you tell people the truth, let them deal with the trauma of the experience, then it'll be fine afterwards. But if you keep the secret, you ain't protecting anybody. It's the problem.
I think it's way more simple than that. It's what I said when they didn't release the files in the first place. And I'm standing by this. It is like that if you're expecting anything when they release whatever they've got, you are like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football. And Lucy's just going to yank that thing right out from under you. Like you're not going to kick the football. So if you expect it, it's like you're being very naive. The truth is what most people believe was going on that island, besides obviously all the sin and the wickedness, was blackmail. So if you think about it, Epstein's bankrolled, all these people are bankrolled to get the most elite, powerful politicians, people in the media, people in Hollywood, people in, the music business, and you get them all compromised. And if you compromise them, then you own them. So that's very valuable. So if all the blackmail was dumped out to the public, well, then it's worthless, right? Because those people would, obviously their reputation will be ruined. Potentially they go to jail. And then they are not worth anything to the people who are blackmailing them. So why would they ever give that information away when it's worth so much money? It's worth so much more money, or all the other things that they want to do with it. So that is exactly why. So the reason
That's
why
they're
you don't
taking so long, because they're literally trying to figure out which ones they can release, which people they can blackmail.
Possibly some people might have to be the scapegoat. They might be willing to sacrifice a few people in order to appease the masses. But yeah, that to me, that seems like that's the most logical thing. That's what blackmail's for. That's what the whole secret society stuff is about, is that, hey, if you want to be in this club, got to do this really terrible thing. Be terrible if anybody knew afterwards. So you're going to shut your mouth. You're going to do what you're told. You're going to work for us forever. That's why these geriatrics never retire from Congress, is because somebody owns them. They made a deal with the devil, and might as well call them Jeffrey Epstein the devil. If that's the form he came in order to get these people to sign their name on the dotted line. And that's what I think that I said, that is what it's all about. And that's why people always, when they question the idea of like these vast conspiracies, well, how could a few people just control all this? Is because they do it through blackmail and fear. Sometimes they do it through potentially giving people stuff, but that's how they keep them, right? They offer them all the things, the kingdoms of the world, all the riches, the women, the men, the younger ones too. And they offer them all these things. But then one day they say, all it's cracked up to be. So I want out. And they said, doesn't work that way. You made a deal. It's either going to be your life ruined, people you care about's life ruined, potentially worse than that. And that's why I think those people never quit. And I think that is why that I do not expect. I mean, I can hope for more than, I'd like to be surprised. From my perspective, yeah, like the stuff is ever coming out. All right, enough about this, all this politics slop. All right, I guess it's not really politics, but yeah, I'm just tired of talking about. So let's move. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have said that because this next video is probably, it's not, but it's, I'm not saying pedos, but it's pedos pretty much.
Talk about the Michael Tait situation and why it's called the worst kept secret in CCM. Give you some backstory, even though some of y'all already know this. Michael Tait, who was a lead singer in two of the biggest Christian bands within the Christian music industry or in Christian music history, stepped down abruptly and just randomly in January. Not really giving a reason why, just saying that he was in fasting and praying on this and that it was just time for him to go. Fast forward to this week, a Christian investigation publication called the Roy's Report ended up revealing that Michael Tait has been sexually assaulting people for the past 20 years. Not just people, young men that he has toured with, that he has befriended with, or that were trying to be friends with him. At this moment, there have been 3 different situations and 3 different victims from different years from 2004, 2010, and 2014, all experiencing the same predatory behavior. According to the article, there is still more and other accusations. If you haven't read the report, you really need to. So these behaviors have been going on for 20 years, and you're probably asking, why hasn't anybody said anything? Did anybody know? This is where the worst kept secret name comes from, because the CCM industry, people within Nashville knew, but not entirely. And I say that because the allegations of Michael Tait's behavior were only merely just rumors within the CCM industry. These were rumors that nobody knew were true. And the reason why is because none of the victims stepped up and said that, hey, this is what happened to me. Even in the article, the victims make it pretty clear that they did not want to tell people besides close family friends and their wives. For years, these rumors were just out there within Nashville and within the Christian music industry, while your favorite Christian artists are casually talking about these things, casually talking about Michael Tait. Here is the issue. No one thought to investigate this until now. According to the article, this investigation has been going on for 2.5 years. Obviously, these investigations take a while because they need to make sure they get the right sources. And trying to find where these rumors started must have been difficult. Because again, a lot of people probably didn't know where these rumors started. They just knew they existed. So for those who worked in the CCM industry, they're not completely at fault. But I do think the CCM industry is responsible for not addressing this sooner. Maybe launching an investigation sooner. Fans now feel like they cannot trust the Christian music industry. Hell, the least they could do is just acknowledge that this is going on. And guess what? Nobody has, besides the newsboys. Which begs the question, did the newsboys know? Well, let's talk about it in the next video.
So the newsboys, was Michael Tait a part of the newsboys?
Michael Tait was,
he was DC Talk. Right?
Well, he was DC Talk first, and then whatever. I'm not sure exactly when it happened, but the guy who was the former lead singer to the Newsboys, and then Michael Tait stepped in to become the lead singer for the Newsboys.
Yeah, but he was DC Talk with the.
But yeah. I mean, I got some stuff to say about that.
I mean, that's pretty interesting. But like the thing is, like, oh man, it breaks my heart because the reality is, everybody's human and they're flawed, but they're everybody's expecting them to be at a certain level of perfection, but they're all human, dude. What do you expect? The humans are going to fail you over and over and over again. So whenever you put a person in a position where they're in high authority, expect them to fail you. Like, dude,
I don't think we should all expect that though, Brian. That seems a bit.
That's just what I feel about everybody. I feel like everybody's corrupt. Like
did everybody's a predator who's in position of high authority? Well, I mean, that's I don't know.
Predator,
I guess
predator.
I guess you expect that people who are singing about Jesus, talking about Jesus, giving altar calls at their concerts, probably are not, predators and funneling guys junk and all that kind of stuff against their wills.
Think about all the other pastors and preachers in high positions of authority.
Oh, I'm not. It's not like I'm saying he's a one-off. I guess it's a problem. He's not a one-off. But I mean, this is a situation where it's exactly like all the other situations where this is an open secret. And it's like, oh, well, we really didn't know. But it's like, but you didn't look, even though you had a lot of reason. There was a lot of smoke and you did not check if there was fire. So then they didn't want to know because this guy likely was a cash cow. So they didn't want to look.
They
so
turned a blind eye.
So the people who were below him on the totem pole said, this guy could make me or break me. So if this guy likes me, well, then potentially I can get on the tour with them. I can get record deal. I can get to play at this certain show. And then if somebody who's above them, he's likely making money with Michael.
So yeah, I mean, it's the same exact thing that was going on in the normal industry was the same exact thing going on in the Christian industry.
I think that
that's the reason why Christian music sucked for so long.
I think that's the truth about the whole Christian music scene right here. You know, it's funny. I just looked this up, and so here's DC Talk. Here's like one of their albums. What do you see there, Brian? Like, what do you see with that album cover?
Looks like the one eye symbolism to me with the Jesus in the middle there for sure.
Yeah, it's like really weird. I mean, like that's even worse, right? It's like that's their symbol is look at this one. This is their famous Jesus freak cover. You see this one? Can you see this?
Yeah, it looks like another.
It's definitely that's definitely an eye. That is the Eye of Horus.
Interesting.
And it's like, but if you start to look, all the same things we point out about the secular music is true of the Christian artists too. And like you said, you're right to say that is that just because they're in the Christian music scene, it would be like saying, oh, well, he's a pastor. He could never do anything wrong. Right. Just like that. So like, it's more likely that if you're a Christian singer who gets money making music, then yeah, like there's no reason to trust these people either. But from my perspective,
Jesus said, why do you call me good? Don't you know only the Father is good? And it was almost like, I think when Jesus said that, I think what he was saying was kind of inevitably like, don't trust anyone. Don't trust men to be good.
Yeah, don't trust men.
Don't trust any man to be good. Like, he's like, why do you call me? And he was just being an example. Of course, Jesus is good, but he was like illustrating in that concept in one aspect. He was like saying, don't trust that men aren't going to fail you. Everyone's going to fail you. Only the Father is good. That's it.
But what I want to say real quick though is that from my perspective, so if you guys are not aware, DC Talk was very popular like in the 90s, early 2000s, and yeah, they were massive Christian rock band, slightly hip hop, but so they went to, I think at least two of the guys went to Liberty University, which I graduated from. So I'm a Liberty University alum. And so at Liberty, we had to do this thing called the Christian service. So we had to do certain amount of community service, but they called it Christian service. And so one of the things that I volunteered to do was like event staff and things like that, event security. So at
JT,
Liberty,
are you starting to confess that you were fondled by DC
well,
Talk?
let me get to that. No, I mean, let's just say, spoilers, no, I was not fondled by him. But here's interesting that, so we did event staff for all these Christian concerts. So I met Michael Tait. I met Toby. Kevin Max was a douche. I remember that. He was like the other guy. And that guy has actually deconstructed his faith. Like, so I'm not even sure if he calls himself a Christian anymore. No, but what's interesting is that Toby and Michael Tait were super cool to us. Like, I remember because it was like, I think we were probably like juniors in college. Maybe we were seniors. I can't remember. Like, but we were just hanging out. Let's be honest, I didn't even really care about Christian music then. I was not listening to Christian music. But in high school, I remember listening to DC Talk a little bit. But those guys were super cool. And Michael Tait was the nicest one out of all of them. And I remember just thinking, like, these guys are pretty down to earth. And we thought, like, Kevin Max had, like, he got this kind of, like, rock star hair. And he could kind of, like, flicking his hair out of his face. And he seemed so above being there. But then, yeah, the other two guys were cool. And I remember saying, yeah, Michael Tait was really cool. I hope it wasn't because he thought me and my friends were cute or something like that. But it was interesting. It was interesting because I watched the whole thing before I watched that video about the whole report about him. It was always him trying to get with like 22-year-old guys. And I was like, Yikes, that was like right around the same time. It was like a couple years after that. It's like when supposedly the first encounter happened, which is probably not the first one. It's the first one they had on record.
Oh, shoot. JT, you could have been in the scopes, bro.
No. See, listen, your boy don't play like that. That was not happening. But I mean, yeah, gosh, it's like this. Yeah, that's like the kind of stuff you really don't want to be true. I would, that's the last thing I'd want to believe. But I mean, you see it, and obviously all the evidence that backs up. And then, of course, you kind of look at it, and you're like, I mean, are you really surprised this guy has a little sugar in his tank? No, you shouldn't be. But you know what? Before we go too far in that, I do want to play this one video because this actually relates. I saw this video today. So I think this is an interview from a guy from another Christian band around the same kind of contemporary to the Newsboys and DC Talk, was Delirious.
It's so funny being a Christian musician because it always scares me when I talk to you guys and you guys think so highly of Christian music, contemporary Christian music especially, because I kind of go, man, I know a lot of us, and we don't know jack about anything. Not that I don't want you to buy our records. Or come to our concerts, I sure do. But you should come for entertainment. If you really want spiritual nourishment, you should go to church. Those people care about you. And you don't have to buy a ticket.
I mean, it sounds like that guy really doesn't know where you should go for spiritual nourishment. But I mean, obviously he did know that it was not one of his concerts. And yeah, I mean, I guess as I said, it's a little bit of a black pill that we want. I mean, I am a person who enjoys music. So you want music that's both edifying, that obviously sounds good, and you want the people singing it to, you want them to represent Christ. And it's like, they don't. And I'm not saying none of them do, but I mean, like, yeah, I mean, you see it like that. If you really think about it. So you have all these mega corporations who own, they're producers, they're the record executives. And then so they have different branches of these bigger companies. And so likely they say they have a pop branch, and then they have the country music thing, and then they probably have the Christian thing. So like, why would you expect it to be any different? Especially like the places like Nashville, they're country, they're Christian, they're blah, blah, blah. You know, like all this stuff is all mixing together. And ultimately it's like, it's probably no different than whatever your local brick and mortar church, where the one guy who's on the stage who wants to play the guitar up in front or play the drums, he just likes playing music. It's not necessarily that should be elevated to be on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, he likes playing music, so that's why he shows up. It's not because it's about Jesus. It's about him.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not a church type person. I'm not a fond of that kind of behavior. I think it says, like, you know, the coming together of believers for the edifying of one another in Christ Jesus. Church today is now school, and you're going to be schooled by a teacher, not by
spoon-fed baby's food.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's weak. You're not sharing. Like, when I get together with my friends, we all share, like, dude, what did God do in your life this week? You know, like, oh, wow, this epic thing happened to me. Wow, this demon-possessed dude just encountered me. Wow, this, you know, person over here just, I prayed and I saw a miracle. Like, and we share each other with one another, our faith and our experience for uplifting each other in the belief of Christ Jesus. We don't just go to listen to one guy talk, you know, like, one guy talking is just, like, stupid, you know. And you know, what if one guy is having a bad week that week? What if he's having a off week that week? I mean, he's just a performer at that point, and you're encouraging him to sustain being a performer and not be real or genuine, because nobody's perfect all the time. So the reality is like, I don't think that image of things is, like, necessarily the best kind of thing to be doing to people. Like, I think it's terrible that we put one people up on the stage all the time. Like, it should just be like, okay, this guy's the dude teaching right now, he's on a roll, let him roll until his roll's done, and let's get the next guy on there, is really what it should be more like, I think, in a lot of ways. And it should be the body of the church. It should be the body of Christ. Like, we are the hands and feet. We're all supposed to be doing it. But people, like, go to church to, like, it's almost like they go there to be punished and to feel the good feelings of the music. I don't even listen to music.
I think a lot of people are going to check the box.
Yeah, they're going to. They have no.
But I think
why.
that's the thing. Is that's the thing that really turned me off of the brick and mortar ones was when I finally was reading my Bible myself, and I was going to church, and we'd get there a little bit early, and I'd want to tell people about the things I read and the things that I was learning and the things that God was telling me, and then you could really just see like the people just kind of like almost like they were slowly walking backwards, and I think it almost like the idea of like, hey, wait a minute, we're gonna do the Bible thing here in a second, so like we're gonna talk about whatever the football game was yesterday. Like we don't really have to talk about this yet, do we? And it was weird because I do think that the more that you obviously seek God on your own, it seems weird to just listen to one person. It's like it's not interactive. Like I want to share what I learned too, and of course we talked about it, Brian. And I said I know I just talked about it on live stream a couple weeks ago about how I want to do more Bible studies, but I want to feel led to do them. And so I can't imagine if that was like your job every week to get up and give a new sermon, because I just know how we are, and it's like, how many people do you think are like given inspired words every week to tell, for 20 years, like every Sunday for 20 years, like how often, I mean, how could that be really organic and from God?
Well,
I don't know.
like
I mean, I guess the point is like that. Yeah. Like you said, we're not supposed to be so impressed with men, and I just wish we weren't so disappointed with them so often. That's the real thing. It's like I wish that there was some people out there that we could identify with that like we wouldn't have to. Yeah, I mean, I have no pleasure in talking about Michael Tait, the fall of Michael Tait. It just, because I feel like that. Yeah, like I kind of like grew up listening to DC Talk. I remember actually I went to one of these old school Christian music festivals, and DC Talk came on a helicopter. It was called Creation. It was some kind of like big field in Pennsylvania. Yeah, so I mean, DC Talk were like kind of like rock stars, and of course, it's kind of cool that I went to the same school as them and met them, and then I kind of like, oh, they're just normal guys. Well, they're not totally normal guys. Like, unfortunately, I wish there were more normal guys, but unfortunately not. You know what? And we've talked way too much about just kind of like ick right now. I want to. Yeah. You want to do some weird, Brian?
Some puppies or something.
We're not doing puppies, but I've got a really interesting video that I was kind of fascinated with here.
About a dozen Devil's Bridges exist in Europe. These bridges are known as Devil's Bridges due to the colloquialism that such bridges were so dangerous or miraculous that they must have been built by Satan. Rakottsbrook is perhaps the most exquisite of the Devil's Bridges. Commissioned in 1860 by the knight of the local town, its builders seemed to hold the aesthetics of the bridge in higher regard than its function. The ends of the Rakottsbrook are decorated with thin rock spires created to look like natural basalt columns, which occur in many places in Germany. The curvature of the bridge is designed to be 1/2 of a perfect circle, so that when the waters are still and the light is right, it creates the illusion of a complete stone circle. And that seems to be a feature of a lot of these Devil's Bridges. Today, crossing the aging relic is prohibited in order to preserve it. Or is it prohibited to keep people from seeing how intricately designed it truly is, or how old it actually is? I suspect this is much older than 1860, and like everything else, our entire history is a lie. Have a great day.
Dude, this is some cool looking bridges.
Yeah, check this. We'll pull that one up. They say Rakottsbrook Bridge. Look at that thing, dude. That is straight out of, again, Tolkien. Tell me that's not.
It's not a perfect circle, but it is close. It's really close.
Well, you know what?
That's super interesting.
Tell me the thing did you see what I saw? When I looked at that, I said, that's a portal.
Yeah, I wonder if it is a bridge at all. I mean, like, does the river get so high that, like, you have to...
Heck no, that thing didn't have to be arched like that. I mean, that's insane. I mean, isn't it just kind of funny just to think in what we're talking about is that these people who saw this bridge, and of course, this bridge is supposedly built in 1860, she said, that the people there called them devil's bridges because they didn't understand how they could have been built. And it was only somebody like the devil who could have done it. Like, what kind of weird mythology is that? Because we're not talking
What
about...
kind of logic is that?
We're talking about...
amazing works to the devil. Why not call it an angel's bridge?
Well, I mean, the devil is an angel. But I mean, but point being is that it's like we're talking about when we show all the old world stuff and people are like, oh, no, you guys are crazy. It was the Industrial Revolution. They had all kinds of stuff. They could have built all that stuff. So we're kind of like past like the real superstitious phase of humanity. At least we're told, right? So they're used to seeing them build old world Greco-Roman state capitol buildings, cathedrals, all the things. And they're super impressed by one bridge that they say, oh, well, only the devil could build that, even though they built it in the same time period that they lived. Do you see anything? Do you see the disconnect there? And yeah, looking at that one, it looks like the stone on around the sides, that it looks like, yeah, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, explain it to me. Like, why and how somebody builds a bridge like that. For what purpose? I mean, because the main reason you'd build a bridge that high is because you'd have some big boat going through there. That's the only reason you really build bridges a certain height, is so a boat can go under it. I don't see that kind of river looking like something you'd have a big ship going through.
Unless the water rises really high too. I don't know.
Yeah, but it kind of looks like a pretty shallow river. I mean, just from the look of it, doesn't it? Because it's not rushing very fast.
Stand in that.
Yeah, it looks
stagnant.
Yeah, it looks like a creek.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing. I mean, trolls hung out under bridges, so devils and bridges. There's something with demons and devils and bridges. It seems.
That is insane. Is it not?
I mean, it's literally just like pressure from the rocks. I wonder if it would hold weight or if it would just like fall if you actually walked on it.
I bet it would hold.
You think
it's still there? You know what I'm saying? It's still there. That thing is straight out of the Lord of the Rings.
There's another mini bridge right there. Look at that one. That mini bridge. What is that? They're just like building little
elves did that. Rocks. There's no way that elves didn't. Look at that. Tell me that's not Rivendell.
Elves did it for sure. The Elohims did it.
I mean, doesn't it look like that? I mean, gosh, it's just like absolutely insane.
Someone's on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Tiny. Bro, he's standing on the Devil's Bridge. What's he doing? Oh, he's jumping on it.
See?
How'd he get up there?
It's incredible, though, isn't it?
It's like paved on the top, too. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean...
Such a structure. Oh, that's cool. Leave it on that shot. I want to see that. That's interesting. What are these little holes in the side? Oh, that's so fascinating. Wait, it looks like you can walk on it. Did somebody pave it? Look. They paved it.
Where is
that? One row of stones, literally.
Yeah, let me see that.
That's an interesting structure.
Let me read this article about it. Ratskotsbrook is one of Europe's devil's bridges and is located in Azalea and Rhododendron
Azalea?
Park.
That's like Azazel.
Yeah, I know. It does sound like that.
It's Azazel. That's named after Azazel for sure. Azazel.
Kromla in Gablins, Germany.
Gablins? That's goblins. It's literally goblins.
Yeah, Gablins. It does kind of look like that, right?
That's literally Azazel, Goblins, Germany. Yes, that is a demonic...
Brook is a thin arch which stretches over the water, and Rakotzi, the town's knight, commissioned the bridge in 1860. Commissions, it's always funny. It was constructed using various basalt columns which were shipped from different quarries, right? Because there's nothing like that close to there, and was designed to look like a perfect half circle so that when light is right, the water is still, and would create the illusion of a complete circle. The builder decorated both ends of the Devil's Bridge with thin rock spirals that look like natural outcroppings. Most of the Devil's Bridges in Europe are in France. 40 while others exist, countries such as Bulgaria, Estonia, Romania, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Spain, Slovenia, and Italy. However, none of them are as beautiful, as unique as Rotkutsbrook. I keep saying it. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Is considered the most picturesque Devil's Bridge in the world and is preferred by most photographers. Most Devil's Bridges were built during the medieval times and are masonry arches, which represent significant technology achievement. Bridges were economic strategic importance to the community. What a bunch of crap. I mean, like 1860, they did that. You know, they could have said any time that they did that. You know
literally
what I'm saying?
Goblins, Germany. It's literally in Azazel's Goblins, Germany.
You know,
That
I
is
went over
literally
Devil's Bridge.
Satanic region. Oh yeah?
Yeah, I went over Devil's Bridge and you know, actually we did not, I take that back. We did not make it all the way over to the Devil's Bridge. In Sedona, we went up to a Devil's Bridge. Let me see. See if you can find my picture of that.
It's just very obvious that it was a demonic region. Whoever was there's probably a lot of stories about myths and legends and demons and witches and occult things and children going missing. Guarantee you, because it was probably an area where Azazel hung out. Like that's what I would say that area was. Hence the name.
But do you think it could be also that, like a lot of things, that maybe the devil took credit for something that was not the devil's?
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's like, yeah, the devil likes to claim some of the stuff was his, but
well, why do we assume that everything elaborate is designed by a demon or a devil? You know?
Yeah, like why would it? Yeah, well, like that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't necessarily.
Where does that idea come from? Like, so why didn't people be like, "Oh, heaven built the bridge"? You know, it's built by a heavenly being. Like, why does it go down to like devils or demons built this kind of stuff? It's because it all stems back to the stories of Enoch, where the demons did build things. So it's like it's pretty obvious where it's coming from, I think. But
so there's me with the Lord's Gym tank on, and see the Devil's Bridge is in the background. You see that? Brian, there's the Devil's Bridge, which we're told is a natural rock formation in Sedona. But now I am not so sure. Maybe that's an example of meltology. And the Devil's Bridge was once something else.
Could be.
But yeah, you're right. You're right about that. That, yeah, like that if Enoch has taught us one thing for sure is that angels give man technology, and so they would have known how to build things. And of course, we believe, based on the ancient angels research, that yes, that's where the megaliths came from, was the sons of the Watchers, likely. Maybe they learned from their fathers, and then they were able to build all the things that we cannot explain. But I mean, the one thing about that is, like, so from what I could tell, it's like it wasn't used. There wasn't megalithic stones used. It looked really natural. Like the thing we were saying, the guy made it to look like basalt columns that looked like natural rock formations, because they did on the sides. But the other things looked like they were using stones that obviously men could handle. But the design is, it just seems, again, like we don't live in a time where people do things for aesthetics in that kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like the way that they would do some, like in the old world, they do things that are incredibly beautiful, but also practical. And we can't picture a time where they do that because they build garbage today that looks like garbage.
Yeah.
Brian, you're going to like this one. I know you're going to already agree.
I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a lot of people who think Pokemon is one of the many tools of Satan. Have you heard this before?
I've heard you told. I remember I think I've heard it from you.
It's not just me, but I want to sort of trace a timeline here. You were playing Pokemon, and then you decided to go fight in Ukraine.
I was playing Pokemon for 2 months. Is that enough time, do you think? I don't know.
So somewhere while you were playing Pokemon, and just tell me the truth, is that when sort of you started thinking it might be a good idea to go fight in a war?
I had more kind of aimless thoughts, let's just say, when I'd be fighting and everything on the game, I was letting my mind wander. And part of that, again, I was involved in combat on the game.
All right. See, this is what many folks are saying, is that somehow built into Pokemon, it's this hypnotic, satanic game that is seductive in nature, that the Pokemon themselves represent various entities, demons. Have you ever heard of the Lesser Key of Solomon?
Mm-mm.
Could we pull up the Lesser Key of Solomon? The original Pokemon, I guess you could call this.
All I gotta say is, it's demons, bro.
It's demons, bro. Yeah. I mean, I know that you're going to think that video is too crazy just to believe, Brian.
Well, I got a little Pokemon right here. Look at this little thing.
Oh, there you go.
Little Pokemon right here. He's so cute. She's adorable.
Is that Pikachu right there?
Yeah, she's just the sweetest little Pokemon. Look at her. She's so happy. She just came in here to say hi. Hello, little baby. Hello.
But yeah, Brian, that's pretty interesting, though, that, because to take a throwback to our 3-letter agency, JT's Mixtape, we talked about how Pokemon Go was used by some kind of, 3-letter agency pass-through that might have been how they mapped out all their surveillance things, where, just like how Google Earth has to do all the things, or like the Google Street View, like you had these people playing this game searching for Pokemons, and they were going everywhere, and you have everybody playing this game in order to get intel for people. I mean, literally, people are like looking for Pokemon inside buildings and in their own houses. So obviously, I believe they can do more than one thing at one time. And so maybe depending on the version of the game, is it possible that this game could influence people to potentially do some idiotic, like volunteer to go fight in Ukraine?
Yeah, so I'll explain that. I mean, this is a complicated topic to really get into, but really, if you notice what the dude said, he said he was spending a lot of time zoning out.
I picked up on that.
Yeah, so when you're in a zoned out state, that's called channeling, and people are unaware of this. But
or you could just say that they're suggestive. Are they more suggestible if they're zoning out?
Yeah, exactly. When you're in the zone out state, it's the hypnotic state. Okay, there is a Pokemon that's called Hypno something or other. I forget. He's a hypnotic induction Pokemon. So there's certain demon, and obviously the Pokemon are named after like animals and demons. Like it's very obvious they're named after certain demonic entities and whatever. Like it's called Pocket Monster. Okay, Pokemon Monster, Poke Pocket. Okay, so it is called Pocket Monster. It's named after demons. It's got a bunch of stuff but the game itself. The addictive component is idolatry. You're literally collecting things. It's teaching you to collect and idolize. It's teaching you idolatry, okay? And it's teaching you worship. And it's teaching you principles that go against the Spirit of the Lord, okay? And it's teaching you to venerate these things that are not human. These are hybrids, which again, this is the perversion of creation. Okay, they call it Pokemon evolution, right? So there's evolving things, which this is all perversion of God's perfect genetics in the sequence of creation that it's supposed to exist within. So again, we're venerating this ideology, the satanic ideology of human perversion or genetic tampering, right? And genome and collection and idolatry and pride and, oh, look, I've got the most Pokemon. Oh, look at me. Look what I've achieved, everything about this game, everything about it is literally playing off of the natural sin within our heart. It's teasing towards feeding that desire for like lust of the flesh and lust of the eyes and sin, right? And so they kept away the sexual aspect in most of it, except for that Team Rocket character. If you've seen it, there's like this Team Rocket girl that has some sexual themed innuendos.
You know what? Okay? I'm proud to say that I've never collected a Pokemon card. I've never played a Pokemon game. I thought it's really weird. It's really gay, and I've avoided it.
That's good. You know, I never had a Pokemon game, and I never collected a Pokemon card. But I watched some of the cartoon stuff just because I was curious. Some of my friends did, you know, and I was like, "What is this? Like, why does it feel something's with Pokemon?" And I've known it, even though I wasn't fully a Christian or aware. Like, my spirit was like, something's off. I don't know what this is, but I never got into it because all my friends were so heavily into it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weirder version of like anime.
Yeah,
because I was never into anime either, and I was just like, why do people like this stuff so much? It's so weird, and it's like, I mean, the way I saw it was, and maybe this could be me being xenophobic. I just thought this is really Asian. It seems such a far off thing for me, whereas like I just did not connect with that at all.
Well,
am I wrong about? Maybe it's a cultural thing for me.
You could say there's some cultural thing, but like, I mean, I think it does have like this aspect that panders to natural human desires in a lot of ways. And so the Pokemon game, the Pokemon theme, the Pokemon stuff, whatever, it all kind of it panders to this desire of pride and worship and veneration and collection and idolatry. It's literally a collection of, you're idolizing these little things, right? And these venerated, hybridized, Nephilimized creatures. And you're just like, okay, so, you know, that in and of itself, pocket monster, pocket demon, whatever, that in and of itself is sort of demonic. Now, what other themes come from when you do these type of things, like worshiping of these things? You're opening yourself up and letting stuff in. So obviously this guy was channeling, because he got to the point where he just played the game so much that it started zoning him out and channeling him and then helping him to relax or zone out or whatever. That empty space where he's at is literally the space where the demons start to infiltrate into your mind and the suggestibility starts to come in. And maybe they're putting in the hypnotic themes that are going to your subconscious. I don't know. I mean, they could be, but it's irrelevant because it's already questionable. You know, like they're putting this stuff into your mind based on, you know, the fact that it's already a bad thing. So it's already something not of the Lord. It's already something that's kind of bad in and of itself, if that makes sense. So that would be my perspective, at least. So, you know, is it demonic in its nature? I think, yeah, but like, you know, is it secretly the government's doing something? I don't know. Who knows? But either way, I would just be like, nah, I'm not gonna, just don't touch it. That would be my suggestion.
Well, I think that it's a bit of both. I think that you have what we already know about MK Ultra. How does MK Ultra work? They obviously traumatize, hypnotize. They somehow, through that state, they can introduce demonic entities into you, and then therefore they can they can manipulate you in that way. So of course, if they were using that Pokemon Go game in order to get them intel, why would they not use that for suggestible people to get them to fight in a war that has nothing to do with them?
I mean, that's pretty ironically stupid for that. Like, that guy was like, yeah, I got nothing else going. I guess I'll join a war. Like, dude,
fighting on Pokemon is fun, so maybe like war will be cool.
Bro, that dude is so demonized, it's absurd. That guy, like, there's something demonic attracted him to that war, because like anybody going to war for the joy of it, bro, you are a demonized individual, bro. If you're going to war for the joy of it, like, bro, what's wrong with you?
Well, you know, it seems funny, like, because we live in the day and age where most of the wars now, you know, like maybe the propaganda has worn thin for most people. And then, you know, especially after all the endless wars that seem quite pointless now to us after all the wars in the Middle East, that we don't view war the same way that obviously they show us in the movies. And maybe people never did, but there was a time where obviously there was this rah-rah, wrap yourself in the flag. But it's funny, I remember like seeing movies like Legends of the Fall, where you had World War I happening. And I remember in that movie, Brad Pitt's younger brother, I forget his name, he is hearing about the news in Europe about this war. So he has to go to Canada to enlist to go fight in World War I. So this was before America was in the war. I mean, there was a romantic notion, at least maybe that's the whole point of we putting that stuff in the movies, is that we want us to think war is romantic, when it's obviously the opposite of that. It's evil. It's about, some guys, the elites, putting people on a chessboard, and obviously you know what you are. You're the pawn, and you'll have to be sacrificed for something that's not worth it, obviously. But yeah, but to see now in this day and age where the information is out there, like, why would anyone ever, and if you're an American, why would you go fight in that war? That is, oh my gosh, that is so insane. I mean, it's so insane that it's like
so ridiculous.
That it makes as much sense as anything is that demons influence them through this video game, because a rational person is not getting involved in this war if you live in the United States. And even if you probably live in those countries, if you don't want to be involved, I mean, imagine if you could avoid that, you would and you should, right?
Absolutely should. I mean, like, all war, I think, is a demonic ritual, a satanic agenda. So if you want to go to war, you are literally demonized. Like, every war is a human sacrifice ritual. There's something wrong with you. Like, maybe he thought some kind of wicked thing in his head. Oh, I got nothing going on. Might as well join this. Like, maybe you'll get to murder somebody. Like, what is wrong with you, dude? Something's wrong with you.
Speaking of something wrong with you, I'll show one more video and then we'll just close this out today. But I thought this was a good one. I could have showed this in the same kind of time frame as the Michael Tait when we were talking about churches. We've never showed a video about Kenneth Copeland on this podcast. And I thought, why not today?
I am a rich Jew backed by a richer Jew.
He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
This is Kenneth Copeland, perhaps the scariest and richest pastor in the world.
Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Known for his $300 million net worth, $7 million mansion, and his 3 private jets, with his very own airstrip behind his house, he's managed to become one of the wealthiest pastors America has ever seen. And I'm going to his church to find out why. The first thing I noticed was Kenneth Copeland's store, selling everything you could think of and the Bible, somewhere. But as the sermon began, I learned that a lot of this church's message was to basically claim blessings from God, and if you had enough faith, your life would be blessed. But only if you've contributed your tithes to help your favorite pastor Kenneth maintain his lavish lifestyle.
Now, obviously, nobody in this audience is probably surprised. If you ever heard of Kenneth Copeland, you know this guy seems to be demonized. But I did think it was interesting. The one thing that obviously caught my eye about that video was obviously the beginning where he was saying he was a rich Jew. What does he mean that he's a Jew?
I mean, well, technically Christians are Jews. Of Christ,
no, we're not. No, we're not. We're true Israel.
Oh, sorry, Israel. Sorry, my mistake.
True Israel, but I mean,
we're true Israel. Yeah, I mean, technically we're Israel.
So why would he say that he was?
I don't know what the Jew.
A rich Jew backed by a richer Jew.
I don't know. That's a really weird one. That's definitely a really weird one. I think he's missing it. I think he's definitely missing it. But I don't know, man.
Or maybe he's telling the truth.
Maybe he's backed by Israel.
Well, did you see in his store at his church?
Yeah, I saw the little Israel flag thing going on there, the satanic sigil of
Ramfam,
the Ramfam flag there with the demonic sigil still in his church. Like, I don't know, man. It's a little sus for sure, bro.
Well, like I said, it's just like, I mean, obviously is he demon possessed? It seems like he is. I mean, if Brian, in your professional opinion, does that man have demons?
I mean, a lot of people got demons, but that guy definitely has some demonic stuff. It's a spirit of mammon that follows him around. So all I know is that spirit of mammon, he's friends with Kenneth Copeland, and that thing's a gnarly demon.
You know, one other thing I want to talk about that video was that everyone's seen the clip, or most people have seen the clip of when he was interviewed about the private plane, and he didn't want to fly commercial because he'd be in like a tube full of demons. And then the woman asked him, do you think that humans are demons? And he got so mad when she asked him that question. It almost makes me think about going back a few episodes ago. We were talking about, is the devil a man? It's almost like he was so mad that maybe the answer was yes.
Oh, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's like talking about, like, he sounded like a demon was speaking through his mouth. And his eyes were just so evil looking. No, I didn't. Don't you ever say that I didn't. It was like, it was so creepy. it sounded like the demon didn't want people to know that. Is that possible? That's why he got so upset?
I don't know, man. I just think it's definitely questionable. Definitely a weird one. That's all I gotta say. He's got some demonic things influencing that man, and he needs some help. That's all I'm gonna say.
100%. On that note, guys, yeah, pray for Kenneth Copeland. Pray for Michael Tait. Pray for the Christian music business, and obviously all the local churches, and obviously all the stuff we talked about before. Because this was a little bit of a darker episode, but it just kind of where the topics took us. But anyways, guys, we really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Please check out the sponsor, Modern Roots Life. Please, if you guys want to get healthy and support me, check them out. And if you want a new t-shirt, again, got the Jesus Said There'd Be Haters shirts. And Brian, actually, I believe he's got some shirts potentially promote from his page coming up.
They'll
right,
be up
Brian?
on demonerasers.com here in like a few days, actually. So they'll be up.
So there'll be Ancient Angels shirts. There'll be It's Demons, Bro, and a few other designs. Check out Brian's channel. I'll leave a link in the description. But yeah, once again, guys, we appreciate you guys, all you patrons for supporting me, all the members on this page, and all you guys who watch. Really appreciate you guys. We don't take it for granted. God bless you. See you next time.
Later.
Everyone left me. Everyone deserted me. Jesus was always there. When everyone hated me and walked away, Jesus never walked away.